Iraq's nuclear secrets, the UN finally prized them loose. And America's call for nuclear cuts. The Soviets and others weigh in.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Saddam Hussein's latest war of nerves with the West is over, for the moment at least. Those UN inspectors examining his nuclear secrets finally are out of Baghdad tonight. They got what they went for, and the evidence does show a nuclear program so extensive it is no wonder that Saddam tried to keep it under wraps. NBC's Tom Aspel has the latest details.
The UN inspection team arrived in Bahrain today after being held in Baghdad for 4 days. Iraq backed down and let them keep documents outlining Saddam Hussein's nuclear weapons program. David Kay and his 43 team members will spend 2 days being debriefed on their ordeal with Iraqi security forces in a Baghdad parking lot, and on how to sort the documents, photographs, and videotapes they managed to get out of the country. The evidence, according to Kay, shows that the Iraqi effort to build and detonate a nuclear device was far more developed than the West had suspected.
You walk around those sites and you shake your head because they're far better than most that I've seen, all I've seen, I think, in Western Europe or North America. It's a very big program.
The inspectors say the Iraqis are continuing to hide evidence and leave clues.
Because one of the things we discovered yesterday in the building we were inspecting was a note that was supposed to have been threaded but had not been threaded, which said, after DK leaves, move documents to, and I will, if you will, pardon me, I will not give you the location where they should be moved.
Nor would he divulge the countries that were helping Iraq develop nuclear weapons, but he left no doubt about the size of the Iraqi effort.
The amount of resources devoted to weapons of mass destruction, and consequently the job of cleaning them up, is one that is immense, much larger than the international community has ever conceived that it would have to face.
There's a biological inspection team in Baghdad now. It's suspected that Iraq was working on developing anthrax and botulin spores to use as weapons. But the team's findings so far have been confined to equipment, which the Iraqis say is purely for agricultural research. A ballistics team is scheduled to arrive in Baghdad tomorrow. Tom Aspel, NBC News, Amman.
President Bush's proposal Friday to dramatically reduce nuclear weapons has triggered something of an arms race in reverse. The United States and the Soviet Union have spent decades and billions arming to the teeth. However, as NBC's John Dancy of the State Department tells us tonight, the rules now have changed. John?
Tom, the game is on. That became obvious today from the Soviet response. True, they raised the ante, but they were also saying, let's deal. In Moscow, the Soviet First Deputy Foreign Minister Vladimir Petrovsky welcomed Bush's offer.
We have accepted these proposals, and we stand for the immediate start of dialogue on all these subjects.
The Soviets will send arms control expert Alexei Obukov to the U.S. within 10 days to begin talks. There are some additional things the Soviets want to talk about. Reducing underground nuclear testing, which could sharply curtail new weapons development. Converting defense industries to civilian uses, potentially a big boost for the Soviet economy. Involving other nuclear states like France with its nuclear missiles and Britain with its nuclear subs. As President Bush toured Disney World today, the State Department revealed he is considering a new summit meeting between the U.S., Britain, France, and the Soviets.
I was pleased with the Soviet reaction. I fully expect that they will cooperate fully.
Bush's offer to remove tactical nuclear weapons like the short-range Lance missile from Europe diffuses a potentially rancorous debate between the U.S. and its NATO partners. NATO was expected to call for their removal this fall. Bush has preempted that debate. But his move raises anew the whole question of NATO's future. Why maintain an anti-Soviet defense when the threat is disappearing? Barry Bleckman is author of a recent report on the U.S. and NATO.
If the Soviet Union continues to evolve in the way it's been going, then clearly the purposes for which NATO was set up will have been completely fulfilled.
In short, Bush's offer potentially changes the whole East-West equation, but it could also mean the end of the Atlantic Alliance. Tom?
Thank you, John. When we return, how is America doing in the classroom, making them first class? We'll have a report card. And in the 90s tonight, older America is going strong. We'll tell you about the huge organization that intends to keep it that way when Nightly News continues.
Jan doesn't need an alarm clock. What she does need is a good cup of coffee. Now, for some, that means getting out the percolator. For Jan and her daughter, it means Folgers crystals. Mountain-grown, slow-roasted, custom ground into crystals. It's this simple. Folgers brews the coffee. Jan enjoys it. You see, the real test isn't how you make the coffee. It's how the coffee makes you feel. Folgers crystals.
For years, Chrysler has stood behind every car and truck it makes with the industry's longest powertrain warranty. Since no one could improve upon it, we did, with the Owner's Choice Protection Plan. Now you can choose our legendary 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain warranty or our new 3-year, 36,000-mile bumper-to-bumper coverage. At Chrysler, one of the best warranties in the business, just got 100% better. Now where does that leave the competition?
A national report card on education is out tonight, and it is shocking. It says that America is failing to make its children competent in math, reading, and science, and has a long way to go toward meeting the goals set by President Bush and the nation's governors. NBC's national correspondent is Bob Kerr.
One of the few bits of good news in today's report is that more Americans than ever are finishing high school, especially blacks. Yet the National Education Goals Panel warns that even that's not as good as it sounds. Graduating is one thing, learning another.
You know, you don't become a world-class pole vaulter by lowering the bar, and you don't establish a world-class education system by lowering standards, and that's about what America had been doing.
As a result, the panel reported a big gap between its goals and reality. Goal, student proficiency in the basics. Reality, less than 20% of 4th, 8th, and 12th graders can do the math and science expected of them. Goal, adults will be literate. Reality, most cannot understand the main argument in a newspaper column or use a bus schedule effectively.
If my children brought home this report card, I would feel a need to get involved as a parent.
And involvement, the panel insists, is the key.
All you need to do is to look at the parental response to homework, the parental response to reading to a child, the amount of television that we watch.
Yet the stresses on society as poverty increases and families find 2 incomes necessary make this as much a problem of sociology as scholarship.
Basic correlations and breakdown of the family.
And that's a problem no school can solve, one that can result in children receiving little or no support or encouragement at home, which would hurt even in the best of schools. The panel's first goal, making sure all children are healthy, well-fed, and ready to learn, may prove the most difficult, and as one member put it today, if we don't achieve that one, the others will be impossible. Bob Kerr, NBC News, Washington.
So what can be done to make America's children more competitive, especially in science? From Colorado tonight, NBC's Roger O'Neill tells us about one experimental approach.
Maybe kids aren't doing any better in science because it is still boring.
So bring this balloon down.
It doesn't have to be, and Dr. Bassam Shakashiri is trying to explode the belief.
What does this stuff look like? People are turned on, if you'll pardon the expression, by what they see, what they smell, what they hear, what they sense.
Not by memorization, and not by professors who lecture to a blackboard.
We find answers by doing experiments, not by reading about it in the book. Kids of all ages, but especially younger kids, ask questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do soap bubbles float?
So how does a micron relate to a millimeter?
At Fort Collins High School, in Mr. Jensen's chemistry class, hands-on learning has become the way students are challenged to solve problems. Their classroom is a laboratory.
It's better than just hearing the teacher talk, because then you get to experience what you're learning instead of just listening to what you're supposed to be learning.
Put this dry ice into this.
Turning kids on to science is the reason why Shakashiri is taking his show on the road.
What's happening?
To convince educators that science can be fun.
How come?
Well, the notion makes common sense. Some teachers are afraid fun means simple.
So what should we do? Not show them?
No, of course not.
What should we do? Show them and point out the complexity.
Yep.
Right?
However,
Shakashiri isn't trying to get everyone to be a scientist, but he is convinced if we continue to turn people off to science, the nation's report card will continue to show mediocrity. And in a global world, that is not good enough.
There it is, a $20.
Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Fort Collins, Colorado.
There it is.
One man who thinks that he can do a better job than President Bush, Nebraska Senator Bob Kerrey. He's also a former governor of that state, and today he became the 4th Democrat to announce his candidacy for president. NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Standing in front of the Nebraska state capitol, Bob Kerrey described himself as a bold alternative to the legacy of Ronald Reagan and George Bush.
They invoked morality, but winked at greed. They criticized the public sector, but then robbed it blind. The staggering cost of malignant neglect can be seen in the frustrated faces of the millions who cannot find work, or pay for health care, or make ends meet.
Kerrey is one of the few candidates willing to propose higher payroll taxes to finance expanded health care. For him, the need for medical coverage is deeply personal. As a Navy SEAL in Vietnam, he lost part of a leg and much of his spirit to a Viet Cong grenade and won the Congressional Medal of Honor. Despite the injury, he runs marathons, but the war experience is fundamental to understanding his character. After winning his Senate seat, he brought a victory celebration to silence and tears by singing the poignant verses of Waltzing Matilda.
Then a big turkey shell knocked me ass over head, and when I awoke in my hospital bed, I saw what it had done, and I wished I were dead. Never knew there were worse things than dying.
As a war hero, Kerrey can get away with taking political risks. He opposed a constitutional amendment to ban flag burning.
We didn't die for the flag in Vietnam. We died for each other.
Voted against the Gulf War.
I cannot shake the conclusion that it would be a mistake for us to launch a war against Iraq.
Nobody's going to question his patriotism or his commitment to the United States. He's proven that. And that gives him a certain leeway on national defense and foreign policy that other Democratic candidates won't have.
And conservative Nebraskans seemed amused by their divorced governor's very public fling with Deborah Winger.
76% said it was okay for Deborah to stay at the mansion. Only 74% thought it was okay for me to stay at the mansion.
In politics only a decade, Kerry's experience is mostly on domestic, not foreign policy. But that's a problem for all the Democratic candidates. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
There's a new proposed settlement tonight between Exxon, the state of Alaska, and the federal government over that huge Exxon Valdez oil spill more than 2 years ago. Under this agreement, Exxon would pay more than $1 billion to satisfy state and federal lawsuits and also a criminal fine. On Wall Street today, program trading pushed stocks up in moderate trading.
Because sometimes the day ends and the pain doesn't, we're introducing new Tylenol PM. It's more than relief. It's relief for those times when you can't sleep. Tylenol PM has extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever to help stop your nighttime aches and pains, plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes new Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
Intelligent engineering is routinely put to the test at Oldsmobile. And here's the result. Of all the Cutlass Sierras ever sold in the last 10 years, we can say 96% are still on the road. Safely say, Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Grandma cleaned her dentures with toothpaste. Mom used to soak. I use the denture cleanser of the 90s. Fast-acting Denture Foam. Deep cleans like tablets, fast like toothpaste. To loosen food stains so you can quickly brush dentures clean. Get Denture Foam. It deep cleans fast.
When you get gas pain, you've got a choice. Your antacid or Gas X, the tablet made for gas pain. It's extra strength, 100% simethicone to get rid of gas faster than your antacid. Fight gas right with Gas X.
Our daily difference now, in the 90s. Maybe you were in your 90s. Well, if you're 50 or better, you're already part of the fastest growing segment of the population. You've got political clout. One big reason? You probably already know the answer. The American Association of Retired Persons, AARP. NBC's Robert Hager.
That's today's Mature Focus, a production of AARP.
The American Association of Retired Persons. Its daily radio broadcast reaches 1 million listeners. Its monthly publication, Modern Maturity, is the largest circulating magazine in the U.S. And its brand new headquarters building in Washington is so big it has its own zip code.
The AARP is huge, 33 million members, twice as many as all the nation's labor unions combined. In fact, there's only one organization in America with more members than the AARP, and that's the Catholic Church.
In Washington, politicians are impressed. New York Senator Moynihan.
It represents the most people and therefore has the most influence by country mile.
And in small-town America, such as Corbin, Kentucky, scene of a recent AARP conference on health care, the organization's members are impressed, too.
I think AARP is wonderful. I've had lots of good experiences with it.
A regional vice president.
Our present game plan, so to speak, is to go to the grassroots.
That means meetings, information for members, and forums to question candidates for public office. While in Washington, AARP lobbyists watch Congress's every move. The association does not donate money to candidates and does not endorse them by name. But every politician knows how the organization can stir up its members with special alerts on key issues and knows that older Americans vote in big numbers.
I would say the AARP sets the agenda for elderly Americans more than any other group outside the Congress itself.
An agenda few lawmakers dare to challenge. Protect Social Security at all costs. Protect Medicare. Fight discrimination against older Americans. And the hottest new issue, reform health care. Partly because of AARP, the nation spends huge sums on programs for older people, while by comparison spending much less on programs for children. But the association's director defends what AARP has done for older Americans.
But that has not come at the expense of any other age group. And we think that's kind of a red herring to throw out, that in order for one group to get ahead in America, some other group has to suffer.
AARP is also in business. It sells discount drugs, sells discount travel packages, and sells a lot of insurance. The big profits all support AARP activities, but some consumer advocates worry.
They still have the internal conflict. What might be best for their consumer side in advocacy may not be the best for their insurance sales side.
But AARP argues that it's only in private business to get the best deals for members. Time and tide stayeth for no man, and neither does the AARP application form. It's sent to all Americans on their 50th birthday. And as the proportion of older Americans in our society continues to grow in the 90s, so too will AARP's pervasive influence over policy for older Americans. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
Tomorrow's Daily Difference is what works.
Stay in school. Stay out of games.
How do you warn your kids about drugs with ads that really reach their audience? Well, get the kids to run the ad campaign.
Mary Brody won't feel the tiny lump in her breast for another 2 years. But she'll discover it tomorrow after her first mammogram, thanks in part to a new X-ray film created by DuPont that makes it safer to start mammography early. And for Mary, early detection means a 2-year head start on the rest of her life. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
High fiber cereal, no taste.
Great tasting cereal, no fiber.
Why have one without the other? And fiber.
Delicious raisins, nuts, dates, crunchy oat clusters, and crispy high-fiber bran flakes.
It's like no other. Fruit and fiber.
Great taste.
And high fiber.
Why have one without the other?
Post Fruit and Fiber cereal. Great taste and high fiber.
This is the sound of Unisom, the sound of sleep. With Unisom, you hit your pillow and fall asleep fast. Tonight, you can sleep more soundly with Unisom, America's #1 sleep aid.
When sore muscles or minor arthritis pain hold you back, you need strong medicine. Ben Gay with not just one, but 2 pain relievers. Warming power for fast relief. Helps get you going again. Ben Gay. Fast, strong medicine for pain relief.
It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest. It's the only time each year when we serve up lobster a dozen luscious ways. Our most delicious lobster at our most delicious prices. But only now during this special event. It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest, starting at $8.99.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Now try lunch on Sunday. Most items $4.99 or less.
There's turmoil once again in Haiti tonight. The president, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, is reported to be under arrest after rebel army officers took over the National Palace during an uprising. Aristide is Haiti's first democratically elected president. Here's a quick check now of some other of the day's news. A spectacular freight train derailment near Boulder, Colorado left 2 men dead and a load of lumber scattered down a deep canyon, some of it burning from spilled diesel fuel. A rock slide caused the derailment. There was a major disturbance tonight at the Rhode Island State Prison. It began in the exercise yard of the maximum security unit. It involved about 300 inmates. At least 5 small fires were set. Injuries were reported. Mexico's President Salinas advocated free trade in his keynote address at Stanford University's 100th anniversary celebration. Some Latinos protested that his policies would lead to the exploitation of Mexican workers. High unemployment is rampant in Mexico, and to many there, the United States can seem like the promised land. But coming north means confronting reality, low wages, unaffordable housing, and something less than a welcome. NBC's George Lewis tonight in San Diego.
When he can find work, Epifanio Martinez commutes to and from the job by bicycle. It's the only means of transportation he and his buddies can afford. They are employed here in the luxurious northwestern suburbs of San Diego, a place loaded with brand new million-dollar houses. They go home to this, a cluster of tents and shacks hidden in a gully, one of hundreds of migrant labor encampments that have sprung up all over California. Why do people have to live in the camps? It costs too much money to live in an apartment?
Oh, yeah, we don't have money for pay the apartment. The apartment is expensive here.
This rapidly growing area has benefited greatly from the plentiful supply of cheap migrant labor. Only problem is the affluent whites who live here don't exactly like having the poor Latino workers as neighbors. Just to the north of San Diego, in the city of Encinitas, charitable groups had a plan to turn this bankrupt motel into low-cost housing for migrant workers. But city officials said no, arguing that Encinitas should not become a magnet for illegal immigration.
I don't feel that the citizens of Encinitas have a responsibility towards the undocumented.
Such talk angers the Reverend Rafael Martinez, who ministers to the camps.
And who do you suppose keep those beautiful yards, those beautiful landscape places, those beautiful golf courses? It is these people. They are the only ones who will do that hard work for the kind of wages that they are paid. But they want them to disappear at the end of the day.
On Sundays, Epifanio provides music for a Catholic Mass in the woods near his camp. He does not regret coming here, believes all his hard work will pay off someday, and tries to be philosophical about his hardships.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. George Lewis, NBC News, San Diego.
Another issue in Southern California today, gay rights. Homosexuals are angry because Governor Pete Wilson has vetoed a bill banning job discrimination against them. So several dozen marched to his Los Angeles office only to find the doors locked. Police moved in and moved the protesters away from the doors. 2 people were arrested.
It's 6 o'clock. You're coming home for supper tonight. You work all day. You work up an appetite.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner?
I wonder what minute is cooking up for dinner tonight.
How about stir-fried chicken and broccoli in a tangy oriental sauce with Minute Rice? Because Minute Rice makes all your recipes taste great. Now that's something to come home to.
Just look 1 minute, it's cooking up for dinner tonight.
Baron series, starting at under $14,000. The perfect balance between self-indulgence and common sense.
Now choose 770 powertrain or 336 bumper-to-bumper protection.
You're not going to believe what happened.
You're right. I'm not.
You don't believe your own brother? Come on. I'm really sorry I'm late.
Late? We're having coffee.
Taster's choice. Just in time.
Well, no, I think you know everyone except...
We've already met.
We share the same taste in coffee.
Savor the sophisticated taste of Taster's Choice.
Are you always this late?
I won't be tomorrow.
What's happening tomorrow?
I'm inviting you to dinner.
What makes you think I'll accept?
You can't resist my coffee.
Why do more people choose more of each of these brands at Sears Brand Central? One reason is that this Magnavox VCR with remote and on-screen programming is at a low $199. Right now, only at Sears Brand Central.
More and more of America's police officers are being armed with powerful new weapons, video cameras in their patrol cars. NBC's Jim Cummins tonight.
Texas State Trooper David Goodman has been riding with a video camera for about a year and a half. He turns the camera on when he believes there is the possibility of making an arrest.
Could you step on out here just a minute? Just get off the road. Just the difference it's made in the trial time as well as the protection of my integrity with it being on videotape.
Would you want to work without one now?
No, sir, I wouldn't.
Video cameras are becoming a fixture in police cars. One insurance company and the group Mothers Against Drunk Driving have contributed more than 1,000 cameras to police departments in 23 states. They are most often used to prove a driver was drunk. But lately, the cameras have been capturing something else on tape. The terrifying experiences of highway patrol officers working alone at night. Recently, State Trooper Andrew Lopez stopped a car with 3 men and found 60 pounds of marijuana in the trunk. One of them pulled a gun on him.
Oh, my God!
Once he realized that his own headlights were making him an easy target, Lopez ran off camera, where he continued the gunfight, eventually killing the suspect. The other 2 men were arrested. Lopez is fine.
I'm just a little sore, a little tender right here on the right side of my ribs where the bullet grazed me.
In Georgia, State Trooper Hank Fielding was the victim of a hit-and-run driver. Fielding survived, but in East Texas, the camera recorded Constable Darrell Lunsford being ambushed by 3 men. He was shot to death. The tape was used to help convict them. Soon there will be a new camera that can be mounted on the dashboard, and the tape machine can be hidden in the trunk. Because pictures like these are becoming the best evidence in a growing number of criminal cases. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Dallas.
That's Nightly News for this Monday night. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you tomorrow night.
A boy's life ended for a crime he didn't commit. A mother's dying wish.
Make things right.
To clear her son's name takes her other son into a mysterious world of mystery.
I'm taking a chance just being here.
And betrayal.
Here's a damn fool coming here.
Will keep you on the edge of your seat. Louis Gossett Jr., Carolina Skeletons on NBC tonight.
Katie, now that you're back, what's the Today Show going to do?
We're going to Disney World.
See the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, movie making at MGM, when Today takes you to Disney World.